Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Cormandy from the Airgun channel My Airgun Reviews, and today we're looking at a new pellet rifle from Umarex. This is the Ruger Airhawk Elite 2. Instead of a spring piston, this one has got their new TNT gas piston and trigger. It's got a different trigger and a different safety. This one does not have the silence air on it. It just has a muzzle brake with a globed fiber optic front sight, steel barrel. It has the rear fiber optic sight, which is micro click adjustable for elevation windage. It has their new Nucleus rail that goes all the way from the front sight to the rear. It has a fake ejector port on each side, their new trigger, and the texturing on the stock is they're very pointed and very grippy and very easy to hang on to. It's a decent stock. The cheek rest is a little short even for the low mounted rings that come with the scope. This gun comes with Ruger's 4x32 scope. You can get a clear sight objective and reticle at, I tested it at 12 yards and 20 yards. It works good for both of them, but my eyes are a little strained lately, so I use my UTG CQB Bugbuster compact scope. It's a 3 to 9 by 32 adjustable objective. It was a little easier on my eyes. And everybody always asks me when I do a review, what's bipod? This is just a plastic bipod that comes free with some of the Hotson pellet rifles. It's not good for shooting, it's just good for display. This gun is 44 inches long. It weighs 8 pounds without the scope. With this particular scope, the gun weighs 9 pounds. It's about 30 pounds cocking effort. It has a 2-stage adjustable trigger, and I like the trigger, but the one on this rifle, it's a little bit crunchy. It's almost Crossman-like in the jerkiness of some of the Cross ones. It's not a very long first stage, but it is crunchy. When you get back to the second stage is firm, and just a light pull and the gun fires. But with the crunchiness, I did have a little bit of trouble with my accuracy testing, because sometimes I thought, I was just coming up against crunch, and I was actually at the second stage and pulled to get to the second stage and the gun fired. So I've had about 220 shots through this rifle so far, and it's still doing it. I think it's something that will clear up, but I think it really needs to be taken apart and some of the parts polished. Anyway, this gun does not have the spring piston. It's got their new TNT gas piston, and it does perform well. Let's take a close-up look at this rifle. Okay, now this is not a silencer. This is just a muzzle brake, but they do have a true muzzle brake on the front of it, which kind of deflects some of the air to the side. And basically what that does is that eliminates some of the turbulence as the pellet's leaving the rifle, making the gun a little bit more accurate. The pellet brake good for gripping when you're cocking. And there's your micro click adjustable rear sight. Their new Nucleus rails, very nice, goes all the way to the back. A lot of more full-size rifles you cannot use this Bugbuster on because the scope sits too far forward, but with this Nucleus rail coming back as far as it does, I was able to use it. That was kind of nice. Here's their new trigger and their new safety, and I like the safety because you have to push forward to release it. On the Reaxis gas pistons, you actually pull back to release it, and that was a little unnerving. And you can see the knurling on the stock. It's kind of very pointy tips, and it works good. The cheek rest is a little bit low, but it's okay. There's a large rubber butt pad, a little stiff, and a Ruger emblem. Okay, now they have a few new rifles out with this TNT Max piston. This is the Ruger Airhawk Elite 2, and it is a Walmart only buy. They also have the Ruger Impact Max in 22 caliber. That one also has the TNT gas piston, and that one is also only sold at Walmart. But I've seen they now have the Umarex Surge Max, which is available everywhere from directly from Umarex, Pyramid Air Gun Depot, and so on. I think that one sells for $129.99. This gun from Walmart is $99.97. It's a very good buy for that. It's got pretty good power. It kind of failed with the RWS Hypermax alloy pellets. It's rated at 1200 feet per second, and we achieved a maximum velocity of 1140 feet per second with them and an average of 1118. Extreme spread of 34.9. It did better with the RWS Hobbies. So often a lot of these lighter weight springers, they do real good with the light pellets and they fail with the heavy hunting pellets. This one was just the opposite. With the RWS Hobbies, we had a low of 1009 feet per second, a high of 1044 feet per second, and an average of 1024 feet per second, so it was well above the claimed average. It had a peak muzzle energy of 16.95 foot-pounds of muzzle energy and an average of 16.3 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And the other two notable pellets, the most powerful and the most accurate, was the H&N Barracuda Hunter Extreme 9.57 grain pellet. It had a low of 893.2, a high of 905.9, average of 901.9. Everything was pretty much in the 900s except for that 893. That must have been a bad pellet. So we had a extreme spread of 12.7 feet per second, an average standard deviation of 5 feet per second, and it did good. It had maximum muzzle energy of 17.44 foot-pounds muzzle energy, averaging 17.29. And the other pellet was the H&N Barracuda Match 10.65. I think that had the 4.53 millimeter head. It had a low of 820.4 feet per second, a high of 833.5 feet per second, an average of 826.2 feet per second. It's a 13.05 foot per second extreme spread, and again, one pellet measured extremely low. It had a standard deviation of 4.89, maximum muzzle energy 16.43. But those last two pellets, they were our most accurate. There was really four that were fairly accurate, and the H&M Barracuda Match was the most accurate. On my 12-yard preliminary accuracy test, I had a .22 inch center to center. And anyway, that one and the H&M Barracuda Hunter Extreme, I used that one because that one had the maximum muzzle energy and it was fairly accurate. So first I'm going to put up the power numbers, and you can take a look at them. Okay, now we're going to go outside for the 20-yard accuracy test. I did 2 rounds, and you can see that I did have a little trouble with the catchiness of the trigger. A few times where I thought I still had more to go to the second stage, and I was at the second stage and fired a little prematurely. I did pretty good first round with the H&N Barracuda Hunter Extremes, except for one pellet, and same thing with the H&N Barracuda Match, and the second one, the H&N Barracuda Hunter Extreme, really kind of spread out. I was really getting glitchy with the trigger, and with the exception of one pellet, I saw that, and so I fired one extra one. So I got 5 pellets, about 2/3 the size of a dime at 20 yards. So let's take a look at that 20-yard accuracy test. Okay, missed with one shot, but can cover the other 5 up with a dime. And this shot pattern's a little bit bigger here. You can see compared to a dime, it's a little bigger. But H&M Barracuda Match, that's real tight. This rifle for $99.97 is really a good buy. I mean, it's got really good power. It's kind of up there with the Crosman Vantage. It's got the TNT gas piston. It's got this beautiful Nucleus rail on it. You can put a lot of accessories. You can put a flashlight or a laser, and you know, kind of even use an offset mount so it's off to the side. There's a lot of things you can do with it. You can use a compact scope like this because the Nucleus rail comes way back. I've got only 2 complaints about the gun. One is the trigger needs, excuse me, I just had chemo yesterday and a little grumpy right here, but it's got kind of a crunchy trigger. I think that'll work out with use. If you're good, you can take the trigger apart and polish it up a little bit and smooth it out. But once you get rid of that, it is going to be a good trigger. The safety is this one, you got to push forward to release it, and I always use my thumb to release it because it's just a little bit stiff for pushing forward with my fingers. And I've got a little neuropathy from my cancer treatment, so that's a little tender, so I just use my thumb. But I like pressing forward on it to release it. And the other complaint was while shooting the rifle, I felt the muzzle brake turn as I was cocking. And now that front fiber optic sight is a little off center and it's out of range. That there is a set screw under there. I loosened it all the way up, but I could not get it to turn back. So that front sight is now out of range. And so I'm going to take this one back. I initially want to get the Ruger Impact Max, and the 2 stores closest to me showed they had it, but neither one had it. So I ended up getting this one, which their online inventory said they did not have, but they did have it. So I got this one. It was cheaper, but like I said, the front muzzle brake just, it turned a little bit, and now that front sight is out of range. So I'm going to return this one. I'm going to get the Ruger Impact Max. I did find one that was a little bit farther away, but I am going to go get it, and I will do a review on that. but I think that's just a fluke with that front muzzle brake. I think with everything you get with this gun, it is probably one of the best buys on the market for, I don't think you're going to get more power, more accuracy, and more features for $99.97. That's under $100. It's only available at Walmart, and you can't order it for delivery home. You got to pick it up at the store. But they also have the Umarex Surge Max at all the online airgun retailers, and so that you can get shipped right to your home if you're not near a Walmart. I think they're about $129.99 for the Umarex Surge Max, and you're going to get basically the same features. You're going to get a muzzle brake, not a silencer. You will get the Nucleus rail, the TNT gas piston, a 4x32 Ruger scope, and the same trigger and same safety. So for those of you that can't get to a Walmart, go online to Pyramid Air, Airgun Depot, and Midway USA, and or Umarex themselves online. I think Umarex sells it for $139.99. So it's really a good gun for the money. Just, we advise, the trigger's a little bit crunchy, and you're going to have to break it in, and keep an eye on your front sight. But this Nucleus rail gives you so many options for scope mounting and for other things like a lamp or a laser, and can really be a fun gun. It's got plenty of power for shooting varmints. Like I say, we peaked at 17.44 foot-pounds muzzle energy. That's excellent. That's with a 9.57 grain pellet. And the most accurate pellet was the H&N Barracuda Match with the 4.53 millimeter head. That's a 10.65 grain pellet. And so you're going to maintain your muzzle energy farther down range. And with 16.43 foot-pounds muzzle energy, that is very good for that heavy a pellet. You're going to carry that energy farther down range. So I call this gun a buy. It's a very good deal, and you're not going to get more features for your money anyplace else. So that's my review of the Ruger Airhawk Elite 2. My name is Kenny Cormandy, and thank you for watching.